All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jessica Compaore to the class. She was a MSU Denver Journalism and Media Production Department graduate, and Professor Lisa Ortiz told me that she's a rock star in her industry. And so, yes, she did. She was talking you up good. So I thought it'd be really interesting for the folks in this class to hear a little bit about what you're doing today with your business. So why don't you just talk about Sika Media?
Perfect. So Sika Media Inc. is a digital content creation company that focuses on social media marketing and management. So by the time I graduated in 2019, I started my business in February 2020 because I saw there was a huge gap in the community when it came to small businesses and entrepreneurs, how to use social media, not as a day-to-day and used for as a necessity, but more as a powerful business tool. And so my business kind of advocates for that. And what makes me kind of different is I do a lot of workshops and do a lot of coaching and teaching social media and how we can use it for business, attendance. I have so since February 2020 now, I have over 30 clients and growing, and especially right now, more clients keep growing. I started off kind of working with activists and politics. Then it started moving into health. Then it started moving into people in restaurants. It started moving around to public figures. It just started my reputation started to grow more and more. But the biggest thing is I use a lot of kind of the skill sets I learned in the department in the community. And the biggest thing that I can stress was organization, a social media calendar, and really just using smart strategies to help clients understand social media is a strong tool and you can definitely get attention, but it's either a one-way street or it can be consistent. So one thing I've told my clients with social media is if you open a business right now and you grab your phone and you take a bunch of pictures and post it on your platform, but you only do that in one day, it's not going to go anywhere on social media. It's just maybe going to get a little recognition for that day. Consistency is a powerful key. And so teaching about consistency, having clients who were new to me that were hesitant, seeing my strategy and seeing from a month-long period of my services and my packages I give, how my strategies over time, it grew their businesses. I started one company, one client who did actually in a health background. She had her own practice for psychology for students, for young kids under the age of 5, and she didn't really have much with her platform. So she had Facebook and Instagram. What my business did is I went in, I set and manage everything based off kind of strategies I've learned and grown that I know work well for businesses, then posting and creating consistency and also doing a lot of audience target analysis with her. Putting a lot of these strategies together, it started to show people what we like to call as the digital footprint. It started to make repetition. It started to gain people, and it started to make engagement. It started to actually grip people. And now, after going through COVID and all, now the digital era is now becoming more stronger. People want to learn about this stuff. People want to know how social media can benefit them and the tips and tricks and the ins and out, because now it's brought to everyone's attention. But the biggest thing I teach with my business is the power of the phone. The phone is probably the most strongest tool that I use in my business. Laptop is great too, but day in and day out, when I'm always doing clients' work, it's right here on the phone. So yeah, that's pretty much a short, sweet thing. And it's still growing. I'm still learning a lot of things along the way. To kind of backtrack for a moment, a lot of people ask me, well, where did Sika Media come from? How did it even come to a thought? Well, first of all, back in 2012, 2013 is when the actual course opened up in the department, if I remember correctly. It was social media social media courses or something like that, or mobile media, excuse me. So when I started learning a lot about the phone and knowing that in the future, the phone is going to become stronger and stronger, I was like, that's a field of interest that I would really want to get into, because it's always going to evolve and grow. And now we live in an era where everybody's on their phone. Everyone uses their phone for every little thing, but there's not a lot of teaching out there about how to use the phone, or businesses, in my opinion, try to scam people by having them pay a lot for certain services when you shouldn't have to pay so much, but you need to be paid at a reasonable price. So there's all those kind of tricky things happening into play. But going back to my focal point, by the time 2015 came around, I saw a big boom, a big gap. Small businesses, especially now, a lot of small businesses have died. A lot of mom and pop shops have disappeared, because only if they just had a little bit of an online presence. But think about it. If you own your own business, you're wearing 50 hats. This is a hat in a realm that nobody has time for. It can be very simple, but if you don't know how to operate it, it can also be very difficult. So then that's when I saw that was a need, I said, you know what, that need right there can make me a really good business. Now here I am, 30 clients and growing. And I mean, I'm at a point now where if I keep growing at the rate I'm at, which is now been almost a year and a half since I originally opened, I'm probably planning on possibly leaving my Denver public school job that I work on the side, kind of the job that is there. But since this job is starting to get more revenue and I want to make it really grow and kind of revolutionize how social media is looked at, I'm planning on probably leaving the school job and working this job full time. And the biggest thing I want to give back is give students like yourself an opportunity to work in a business like mine. Just because it would really, things are going to keep changing. It's hard to express when I say things are changing, but if we think about technology and how it's even revolutionizing, even in our own schools, it's revolutionizing health, it's revolutionizing in so many ways, but businesses is where it still has a struggle. There's still a gap, because us as students in the media world, we're not exposing ourselves enough. And I think social media is going to be a powerful way for us to do that. And so with my business, I'm going to definitely do that. Any questions?
Wow, you're a good spokesman for your business.
Thank you.
It's really, you've really helped us understand what it's all about from your standpoint. I'm going to pause here a moment to see if anything you've said so far has raised any questions among students in the classroom here. No? Okay, so it sounds like a real pivotal moment for you was learning about mobile and social media. And it sounds also like what was really important was the mobile aspect of it, the telephone, and how that has changed. So was this something that you always thought you would do, is start your own business, or how'd you get to this point?
Well, it's so funny you say that. So at first, when I went to Metro, I actually started in art, graphic designing. That was my love. Then got into hospitality, which kind of helped with the customer service aspect of my personality, I guess. But then when I got into technical communications, at the time is what it was called, for the department, and then this course opened up, I just fell in love with the fact that such a phone can not only do you can take pictures with it. It combined a lot of the things I'd like to do, and especially with the artistic part, taking photography. I have a photography background. A lot of that artistic sense kind of went into the phone. But to answer your question, I never thought about opening my business, but when 2015 came around, that was the big pivotal moment where I was working in a restaurant, talking with some people. And at this point, I was in a lot of community organizations. And at this point, people were surprised. And when they heard how, when I kind of was getting into social media, and the biggest thing that I saw was actually with an organization I did on the campus, African Student Union. I was the president. I helped establish their first Facebook page, Instagram, and all that. But when I did that, I loved the rush, the excitement, the style, the skill set. And I didn't realize how it was something that a lot of people didn't know how to do, at least at the time. Now, I feel like some people can really do it more, but now it's just setting it up properly. So that's kind of where that pivot moment happened. And I said to myself, well, would it be realistic to do a business that sits with this kind of stuff? And so since I hadn't seen anything out there at the time, and I still don't see much out there, I said, you know what? I think I should do a business. And I never thought in my wildest dream I would ever run a business, start a business, whatever. But it was getting to a point where I was like, I want to know what I want to do with my life. It's something that I want to be able, it's something that can grow. And I've always loved technology. I was always into computers. I was the tech person in my family. So I said, you know what? I don't know how this is going to look, but something in my gut, my instincts was telling me, and this is what I've learned from my mentors. If it's something that you wake up and you can, if it's a career that you enjoy, you can live it, breathe it, eat it every day of your life, then that's the career for you. For me, social media wasn't just something about being social and snapping, doing an Instagram chat or snap, or, you know, taking photos and having fun or doing a post. It was more of, I like the thrill of looking at data. I like the thrill of seeing pictures go out and looking at views and seeing how much it would grip people's attention and how you can use that for sales. That I just became obsessed. So I said, okay, since I like this and I can do it every single day, let me see if I can make this into a career. So then talked with some friends. First, I'm like, let me come up with a name. And I wanted it to be unique. And it actually, Sika Media, the Sika part actually comes from my own name, just kind of moved some letters around and made it unique. And then as time went by, it turned into a situation where I was like, you know what, I never thought I'd think of myself as a businesswoman or entrepreneur, but I really enjoyed networking with people, getting to know people, socializing with people. And especially in the last 2 years, working with so many folks I've got to work with, I've actually saved a couple companies. Now, for me, that's satisfaction. And that's all I want to do in this big world, is I just want to be able to help folks. Didn't know how that was going to look like. Here are my skills. I said, okay, here's my skills. I want to help people. How's it going to look? Who would have thought it would have been my business that would be doing something like that? So yeah, it's something it's very surreal to me. I'm still kind of taking it in. But for example, there was an event yesterday. It was the NAACP Aurora branch event. And they had, I think over 150 people. And those 150 people, which it was a small space, they heard about this event based off social media, because for the last month, I had been putting strategies, posting, doing a calendar, being consistent, reaching out, just consistent way of communication. And 150 people came in, and about maybe 50 people did donations, and we maybe raised over a little bit over like $5,000. And these were officials. These were people who were politics, even newscasters. I'm sorry, that made me go, okay, there's got to be something to this. The fact that it gripped all these people's attention, all these people knew where to go, and they made donations. And on top of it, these are like legit people who have probably like way more followers or whatever. I'm just like, okay, there's something to this. This is how communication is going to start revolutionizing for all of us. And if my business is going to be part of that change, hey, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
Cool. So it sounds like one point that you made pretty clear is that taking the entrepreneur road, you need to be someone who's really comfortable with networking and putting yourself out there. How did you started out with probably one client, and now you're at 30? How do you get new clients?
Oh gosh, referrals. I have to say a lot of referrals. So I first started out working for, his name is Omar Montgomery. I'm not sure if he's still on the college campus, but he is with UCD, and he's known me for many years with my organization. And I kind of already had a reputation with a few people that kind of knew some of the stuff I did on campus. But I had went to him, and I stressed to everybody, when you, and to go and to answer your question, when I was getting ready to graduate from college, this was the strategy that I used that I think has probably made me very successful with my business. Give yourself 1 year to prep and do test trials. Because I was nervous to open up this business. I was like, I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know if I'm going to deal with people. I don't know how this is going to happen. So I did a test run for about a year with a few friends, doing kind of some businesses, kind of doing some test trial and error of what I like, what I didn't like, what would my business look like, how could I deal with the capacity. After a year went by, and then I worked with Omar Montgomery and did his NAACP, no, sorry, not NAACP. He did a political campaign. That's what I really got myself out there, where people saw me with a camera, people saw me with a phone, people saw me do stuff, and they were very intrigued and interesting of who I was. And before you know it, people are coming to me and saying, hey, I see you with the phone. I see what you're doing on Facebook. Can I get your number? And keep pouring. Please have a business card. Have a business card, or if you have your phone on you, there's these cool devices now where you can put a little sticker stamp on your phone, and you can quickly on your sticker stamp phone, you can tap onto the phone and then get your information out to somebody else or see all your profiles. Not only that, but with your different social media pages, you have to make sure you have it all kind of cleaned up. Make sure your Facebook pages are Facebook for your professional, personal, Instagram, all that good jazz that we talk about, and we can go into another day. But biggest thing is, once I started getting referred and my word was getting out with people, then it just started to rapidly grow. And like I said, I'm going to have to say this out of confession, COVID had a lot to do with this, because businesses were shutting down. People need to be online. People need to have an online presence. I had to say, COVID was something that kind of actually gave my business a jump start. People were hearing about me. People were being referred about me. People were hearing, oh yeah, Jessica does social media. She does online stuff. Give her a call. Boom. Before you know it, it was just starting to, right time, right place kind of happened.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and networking sounds like it's not all that scary if you're networking through organizations that you feel good about and people who are, friends and family. That sounds like how you're building it out.
Yes, absolutely. And I will stress mentors. At least try to have 3 mentors in your life. However they look like. If one mentor is more of an academic mentor, if one's more of a personal, one's a whatever. I just tell people, have 3 mentors in your life, whatever those 3 look like. So I did 2, I meant 3. And those are the people you want to kind of work and build through. For me, I had 3 mentors. One was an academic mentor. One was a mentor I actually worked with in business, and one was a personal mentor. Each of them knew a little bit of pieces about me, but they were able to kind of piece together what I wanted and how I wanted to kind of work through things when it came to socializing. Because I hate to say it, when it came to networking, I am great with networking with people, talking and chatting. The part I hate is that once that person became a client and they had issues, I turned into a whole different slew. But I got to learn and grow, and I had to remind myself, this is my business. How do I want it? And I definitely leaned on my mentors a lot. Went to them and said, hey, here's an issue with this client. This is what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. Help me. Really going to kind of build your confidence, especially as an entrepreneur or a small business owner.
All right. One last chance for anybody here in the class to ask a question.
Nothing at all? Come on.
There's
not that boring.
on the far end here, we're getting a question. Just a second.
Awesome.
So she's just like promoting herself.
How is she promoting herself?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you promote yourself?
Okay. So word of mouth, Facebook, Instagram. And when I do have clients and they have events, that's also how I promote myself. So when I go to these networking events, I make sure that I carry my badge on me. I have my business cards or my little tap device. That's how I promote myself.
Very good. Very good. Did that answer your question,
Yeah,
Knoxway?
really good.
Pardon me?
When she's trying to promote herself, when she shares it
What's she
online.
title herself on, what does she use, what's her speech?
Yeah.
What's her message? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does she sell herself, by word of mouth?
Okay, so yeah, those are the tactics that you use to get the word out. But what is kind of the key message that you put out as far as why would somebody want to engage with you?
We seek your needs in social media.
So that's your tagline. We seek your needs in social media.
And what I particularly do is cater to your needs, to what you want and how you want to be viewed on social media.
Okay. Okay, that seems to have answered it. And one final question from me, and because I wanted to get back to an important point that you made earlier, and that is the importance of understanding that social media doesn't just happen. That there's got to be, so what do you tell your clients who come to you right off the bat, and what do you tell them they need to do in order to use social media as a powerful tool for them?
Right. So usually I have a start with a consultation. If I have a client that comes to me and they have a business, most of the clients that come to me have businesses.
Yeah.
And they want to be able to get their businesses out there. And so then my crucial questions I ask is, okay, what's your target audience? What's your mission? What's your goal? Or what are you trying to sell? And then after we finish those questionnaires and I kind of get to know the client a little bit about their personality, then we go across and talk about how much exposure do you want? Because it's happened where I get a client that wants somebody to expose their business, but that means they really have to expose themselves in a sense, or at least expose where their business is and what their business does. So then we have a conversation of how willing are you wanting to expose yourself? Meaning, can I, in the contract, I'm going to have to visit you twice, take photos, get live recording, doing a lot of live streaming is what brings a lot of clientele in. And then basing off what their industry is, then I give them examples of different platforms, tell them that here are the platforms I recommend that will be best for your industry. For example, if I'm dealing with a client who's in the restaurant world, I say, hey, here are the 3 platforms I think will be the best. And based off their packet, they get to pick off between 3 or 2. And so most of the time, Facebook is always a good platform. Google Business is another strong platform. And then, of course, Instagram is a powerful platform. So then I tell them the 3 platforms, and then based off their package, they can pick. And then we start setting up from there. And then I work them through. Most of the time, I get a client most of my clients usually get themselves promoted a lot on Google Business. And that's where I come in, where I take pictures. I kind of show them, hey, here's how we can market your business by using this platform. Here are the ways how we can do that. And so we do a lot of pictures and videoing and vice versa. But again, it all goes back to that consultation. Because have I had a client who's very cautious and is not sure? Fine, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I have strategies put in place to deal with those kind of people. And I said, okay, we don't have to get you involved, but if you want your business to grow, and it's a serious conversation, if you want your business to grow, we have to expose what your business is and what your business does. So let's set up this, and that, and so forth. And I have a big slew of a list that it's my little protocol list that I go back and forth that I use with people.
All right. And then you, once you've kind of used that consultation to come up with a strategy, and a choice is made on what platforms they're going to use, then you put together a content calendar.
Yep. Absolutely. You got it. That's the next step.
And the content calendar is what makes sure that you stay consistent, which was one of your first messages, is consistency is so important.
Yes, absolutely. And the biggest thing I stress to my clients is it also goes back to the client in their industry. Let's just say I'm dealing with a client who's starting out brand new, right? They have no followers, they have nothing. So then we have a serious conversation. I said, okay, here's the deal. This is going to take more than one time situation. And sometimes clients come to me and they're like, because a lot of the strategies I use is very grassroots, right? And my prices are very affordable because I'm not trying to rank your price up, but I'm also extremely serious with them. And I say, here's the situation I want you to know is that if you decide to work with me and you have no followers, I can get you started from the ground up. We can start building some things up. But the first month is going to really getting you present on the online world. And if you are wanting 5,000 followers within the first month, that's not realistic unless you are willing to put a little more money into the situation. So those are the kind of conversations I have to have with the clients. So I'm not ripping them off. They understand the realisticness of when it comes to social media, because people think, oh, I'm going to get, some folks who are not aware how social media works, they think they can get 5,000 followers in one day. Yeah, sure. If, I do have somebody who works with me and she can give me those 5,000 followers for that person, but it takes extra money, extra price. Usually with most of my clients, I start grassroots with them and do little grassroots strategies, meaning attending to 2 events, taking pictures, doing social media streaming, talking with the client and making sure they know how to kind of coaching the client a little bit, how they can get their people and audience to follow. A lot of, I call it grassroots communication, so then they can start building something up. Once a month goes by, and I tell them, I said, if a month goes by and we're at where we're at and you like what you see, then we can continue. I can happily say I've had a client now for a year. She started off maybe last year around in November, maybe with 50 followers. Now she's sitting with about 3,000 followers.
Excellent.
And that took the
Good.
combination between grassroots communication, and then down the road, when she had ads, I said, okay, if you want to boost your ads up, here's the additional money it's going to cost, and vice versa. She was totally fine with that because she trusted me, and we kind of built that communication and that relationship. And before you know it, now she's flourishing, and she gets a lot of clients through her Facebook page, and she's still a client.
All right. Well, Jessica, I'll let you go. Professor Ortiz was correct. You are rocking it. You're making us proud.
Thank you.
So thank you for spending some time with the students today and helping us understand, how someone can set up a business once you see that there's a need out there. So thank you very much.
Awesome. No problem. Thank you all.